Hello and welcome to the Other Minds podcast. I'm Joseph Bohegan. You're listening to the music of today's guest, Kristine Tjøgersen. Other Minds, founded in 1992 in San Francisco by Charles Amerkanian and Jim Newman, is devoted to championing the most original voices in new and experimental music. On season 4 of the podcast, we're talking with a range of composers, performers, and authors across the field of new music, including the featured composers from the 29th Other Minds Festival, which will take place October 16th to 19th, 2025, at the Brava Theater in San Francisco. Today, I'm joined by the Norwegian composer Kristine Tjøgersen. Tjøgersen's compositional practice is characterized by curiosity, imagination, humor, and precision. She has a special interest in the interplay between the visual and the auditory, as well as the natural world. Her collaboration with researchers and biologists is a source of new sound and scenic ideas, incorporating organic forms into the music. On night 3 of this year's Other Minds Festival, pianist Ellen Ugelvik and lighting designer Evelina Dembacke will perform Tjøgersen's piano piece, in which the pianist creates a forest of miniature trees inside the piano. Tjøgersen is here with me now to discuss this piece and more. Welcome to the podcast, Kristine.
Oh, thank you.
The sounds of the natural world are very important to your work. So what draws you to finding the music in nature?
Music is everywhere. I think it's so important to give the nature a voice in the concert hall, and especially now when it's so threatened and people actually don't think about all the beauty that surrounds us. So for me, it's very important to just show it, because I think it's so much that can open up our senses and actually to get a richer life in a way, to look and hear outwards instead of inwards. I think it's good.
How does that musicality of the natural world get manifested in your music? Are you making field recordings? Are you creating transcriptions of field recordings for the instruments?
Yeah, I make very precise transcriptions often, and I work very closely with instrumentalists, and I also improvise a lot myself to find techniques that sounds very similar to the sounds. And I also find sounds online, from scientists or also people that are recording nature, and I contact biologists, and
That was something that I found really interesting, that you're collaborating directly with scientists and biologists. I'm wondering what kind of role they might play in the development of a project.
A lot, and they get so enthusiastic when I ask them questions, because it's another way to think about sound, and many of them don't have the education or the knowledge about sound that I have. They think about it in another way, more scientific, but I can write it down very precisely. If it's some marine biologists that are recording fishes and different fishes, they don't write it down very precise, the rhythms, and when I do it, I can preserve it in a way. And it's, some people ask me, is it like a catalog of things that can be lost? And then I got quite sad. But no, it's I think it's so much inspiration from collaborations. Yeah, it's very important to me.
Could you give an example of a piece in which this kind of collaboration was important?
And these night lives that I made 3 years ago, and then I had like a kind of a team. Then it was with a biologist and a scenographer and a light designer, and we we will like examine it, like things that happens in the night, things that we don't see and what we don't hear. And this was very exciting because we thought about it in different ways and could like dig into it together. And we read books and went on trips in the night, and was like, and then it's good to have like this to have the biologist that can like guide us, and then we ask questions that she didn't think about. And so it's very, for everybody, it was such an amazing experience. And also have this the group Cicada Ensemble that were like, I had workshops with them, and so it was many people involved.
Can you remember any of those questions that you had for the biologists that were an example of you thinking of sound in a different way?
Yeah, for me it was a lot about this. I worked a lot, but also like not only sound, but I wanted to transform like smell into sound.
How do you do that?
No, that's very exciting, because the moths, their communication is with smell. So they are like sending smell like into the air, that they are rubbing their genitals together actually. And they can communicate with the moths that are far away, like really far away. And for me, these molecules that was sent away, and also that it was actually making sound, this movement that they had to like make to send the smell away. So then we had to like dig into this really scientific pages online. So it's a whole new world opening up, and how other beings communicate, and also bat sounds, like to this. I have this ultrasound detector that I always carry in my purse to listen to different bats.
Just in case.
Yeah. It's my main hobby now, and it's because of this project.
So then, for example, when you learned about how the moths communicate, how does that translate into the music that the audience hears?
Yeah, it's actually the opening of the whole record, this Night Lives record. And then it's like this, it's like these sounds that are sending out smell. So the opening of the concert, the musician was sitting around the audience, sending these signals back and forth to each other. It was more like kind of theater music.
Could you talk a bit more about the visuals and the theater for that piece, just to give a sense of what it was like to be there? Because it was very immersive, it looked like, from the video.
Yeah. For me, music is very visual, so it's very natural, like to make music theater, or that visual is can be very close to the music and belong together with the music. It's not like, oh, first I make the music and then the visual afterwards, but it's together. It's really So when in this piece, when all the audience were entering the concert hall, they had to go through like a wormhole that was tested with tutti frutti smell. One of the most common smells in nature is actually tutti frutti. I didn't know, but many mushrooms and stuff, they smell like tutti frutti. And then when they came into the room, it was like smoke from like you actually have to look at some pictures, I think. But and then it was shadow play and also dancing worms. Like some actors had like worms and that they danced with, and it was like kind of a club happening, warm. And also like it was a lot of visual in the room. We tried to make visualize the bat sounds that we don't hear. So it was like on the walls, and also microorganisms that we made very big in the roof, the ceiling.
Speaking about the use of visuals in music, your piano piece, which will be performed at the Other Minds Festival this year, involves the pianist Ellen Ugelvik creating a forest of miniature trees inside the piano, and then that's projected with a live camera feed behind her. How did you come up with that idea? Because it's really striking to watch.
Yeah. I actually got this question to make a piano concerto, and I was like, oh. And then as a composer, you just think about all this famous piano concerto like Rachmaninoff, and it's so many amazing pieces out there. And I was like, oh, what to do? Oh, what to do with this piano? And I'm walking a lot, so I was going for walks, and suddenly I passed by this model railway shop, and I saw these small trees in the window, and I was like, oh, what if a forest appears in the piano, and I can make a small forest? And I started to just play around with this idea and bought a lot of trees, and then I started to glue magnets to the trees, so they are actually instruments. They are not just props. It's she also plays on the trees, and I wanted the audience to feel that they were sitting inside the piano, that the concert hall is like a big grand piano in a way. So it's a miniature like a small live camera inside the piano, and then it's projected behind the pianist, and then the small trees are like extremely big on the screen. So I like this: what is big, what is small, what size are we as humans, that we like think like get confused in a way about sizes. And actually now I just finished the orchestra version of it. So this is like a solo for electronics, where I made the sounds from only piano sounds. So, and it's very immersive around the audience for this Other Minds. But now in the autumn it will also be played as a real piano concert with orchestra. So it's very exciting.
And the sounds of the piece itself that the pianist is making inside on the strings are meant to resemble a slowed down recording of a spruce forest that you made. What was the process of transcribing those sounds from the field recording into what Ellen actually does inside the piano?
I spent a lot of time in a cottage in the south coast of Norway, and there was a planted spruce forest, and I made a lot of recordings on many days, like many times during night and day, and I start to listen to it very intense. And then I heard like, when you listen to the same thing 20 or 30 times, you start to hear more and more and more stuff going on. So, and then it sounds just start to blossom. And I try to recreate this with piano techniques, new techniques. And it could be like a human that were passing by a needle tree, like with the clothes. And then is this, because it was also like a path there. So, yeah. So, and speaking of trees, when they were, and birds and mosquitoes and all kinds of living things.
And are you doing this all by ear, or are you creating some kind of spectral analysis of the recording?
No, I never do that. I like to use my own hearing, because then it's also my fantasies. Something else appear when you listen to it yourself so many times. Maybe something else. You get confused. Like, is this the recording, or am I starting to like make my own music? And and it becomes something new, but the source is there. So I think this is a big part of how I compose, is also that becomes like maybe a kind of a fantasy world, some of it, like the landscapes, but it's the source is there. But sometimes I think maybe it's like more real, because I dig so much into it, and like all these sounds that you don't hear when you sit there, I make more present in a way.
Let's listen to an excerpt of Piano Piece by Kristine Tjøgersen, performed by Ellen Ugelvik. Could you also talk about your collaborations with Ellen Ugelvik and Evelina Dembacke, who will be performing Piano Piece at the festival?
Yeah, Ellen Ugelvik, we have played together for so many years because before I was mainly a clarinet player, and I played in ensemble Asamisimasa for many years, where she's a pianist. So she's one of my best friends, and so she asked me to make this concert for her, and plays a big role in like how we explored all the techniques together, and she's open for everything. She's a great performer and love crazy stuff and everything amazing. So I knew that she would be able to go into this role. But it's not a normal piano concerto. I could not ask, like, or maybe, but she don't play so much on the
keyboard.
Yeah, the keyboard, not a single key, I think. No, and Evelina, we have worked, the light designer and artist, we have worked together for many years on different pieces and theater pieces. So it's so good with this collaboration that lasts for many years, so that you know each other and you work together and explore things. It's a safe place. It's good with this new collaboration, but also have this that are lasting for many years. After this piano piece, I made an orchestra piece called Between Trees. So this is like a sister piece, or Then I used some of the material actually from the piano piece and made this orchestra piece. I wanted to make it even like for a whole, without the visuals, because it's very visual, this piano piece for Ellen Ugelvik. But I wanted it to be visual, but without any visuals. So in Between Trees, I wanted people to feel that they were in the forest in a way, but in their own way. And it's also about trees communicating with the fungis, because under our feet, the trees are like talking together through like a network of fungi, and they're actually talking in pulse. So it's a lot of rhythms under our feet that we don't know about. So I also thought about underground music. I am a music lover, and I listen to a lot of pop music, indie pop and rock and dance music. So you can also hear some jazz or pop thing. And I think in my music in general, you can hear some influences from the pop music scene.
Maybe like the Bat Club and Nightlives.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love dancing. And I think contemporary music for so many years, like before in the Baroque, it was like all these dances like jig and sarabande and gavotte and all this. It was so much about dance. And also when you play classical music, you have all these rhythms in your body, and then suddenly with contemporary music, it's you don't feel the beat in your body. And I think it's good, like I like rhythm and beats and dancing, but to put it inside the contemporary music in a way, it's very fun. And if you like to play a pop-ish song, is this Starry Night from this Between Trees album. It's with the singer Jenny Wahl. That's a very good friend of mine. And it was actually from a music theater play called Bauer for a French ensemble.
You can hear Kristine Tjøgersen's piano piece, performed by pianist Ellen Ugelvik and lighting designer Evelina Dembacke at Other Minds Festival 29 on Saturday, October 18th, 2025 at the Brava Theater in San Francisco. Thank you, Kristine, for joining me today, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
This has been an episode of the Other Minds podcast, brought to you by Other Minds. Our 29th festival is October 16th to 19th, 2025 at the Brava Theater in San Francisco. Join us again next week.